All right, traders, quick recap for Thursday, November 8th from the Tribeca Trade Group. And yeah, look at this name that I have up on my screen, Alta. We're just talking about this in the trading room. What a reversal. You know, the numbers that came out from Alta were very good this morning. And it was a little bit of a head scratcher because the name immediately started going down. I don't know if there was a misinterpretation. Sometimes we have that where things just don't look right. But look at the reversal. And it's just interesting sometimes how these names can do this. They could just rage from the lows to the highs. So real nice move. This name's up 4.6% right now. But today is Thursday, so we do have the Fed meeting today, and it's kind of a I don't know, maybe a little bit of a digestion day so far. Markets obviously don't move in a straight line normally, down or up, but you know, I'm doing my best to kind of not over trade today. It is difficult, you know, if you're in front of the screens every day. And we have that momentum that we had yesterday, which was pretty ridiculous, right? I mean, it was a great move all day yesterday, and you know, mentally, I think we come in and we're expecting that to continue, but it's just not that way, and especially with kind of a Fed meeting. Although I don't really expect too much for today's meeting. You know, they're not raising rates today. They're going to, it sounds like, for December. And I think everybody kind of, the institutions basically sit on their hands a little bit to see if they're going to say anything new. What I would expect, and I don't know if the market is really going to move on it, but I would expect more of the same. They've been hawkish all along. It was something that we talked about in last night's video. If you didn't get a chance to view last night's video post close, I was talking about how we had a great day yesterday, and you know, took advantage of it yesterday. Took some trades off the table yesterday, and just realized, hey, it was kind of, you kind of take it for what it is. Has anything really changed? No, I mean, I think the Fed, my guess is the Fed is going to come out with more hawkish statements today about raising rates and about how the economy is doing great and so on and so forth. So those risks, even though we've had a nice bounce from the lows, you know, what kind of brought us down in the first place are still, nothing has changed. The Fed isn't coming in and saying that they've changed their tone. We don't have any resolution to the trade tariffs as well. So, you know, of course we can, my approach is to kind of take a look and look at some of these names that have gotten unnecessarily beaten up. You know, remember what we saw a month ago. Whoops, and I'll bring, we can see the S&Ps. The more I talk, the more the market is rallying, which is good. But you know, just bringing up the S&P chart, you know, we're digesting a little bit, and we've had a hell of a move from the lows. So we do have this. If I were to kind of analyze, which I made fun of a little bit yesterday in yesterday's video, over analyzing the S&P, but yeah, we do have a little bit of resistance. You know, I've been talking a lot about how the Dow has been outperforming, because we do want to play things that are outperforming. But today the Dow is still going up 30 basis points. Believe it or not, like if you look at this Dow chart for just a second, and I'll wait for this to come up on Bloomberg. I think I have too many applications open once again. But we're only about 2.7% from the all-time highs in the Dow. So, you know, it just goes to show you, which I've been talking a lot about, diversification and you know, really not being trapped in names that are not performing very well. But I mean, this is almost back to 52-week highs. It's within a couple percent. It's pretty ridiculous. And meanwhile, there's a lot more damage still in other sectors. So for today, what do I see in terms of sectors? I see a lot more sectors in red today, and it may just be my own personal watch list, but I do see the China internet names down 4%. So a lot, I don't want to say all of growth, because I don't tend to characterize all of growth as like one sector. There's a lot of different pockets of growth, but the Chinese internets are down 4%. The pot stocks, which had a huge day yesterday, kind of a sell the news, which is what I said when the sessions news was out yesterday, that watch for a little bit of a sell the news. You know, you always want to buy the rumor, sell the news. Not, sorry, I shouldn't say you, but just in general, market principle is usually you want to usually buying the rumor and then taking profits once the cat is out of the bag. Again, this video is for information purposes only. Solar names are down. The home builders are a little bit off the lows. They got pretty beaten up on DHI. A lot of names reporting. You know what we went over pre-market is just the amount of separation today. You know, again, looking at the S&P, it's the S&P is flat right now, but this is what I've been advocating now for a while, is that you've got a major separation going on in sectors on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, the S&P, and I'm really beating a dead horse here with this one, but the S&P is flat for the day, but depends on what single stocks you own, because there is a lot that I see that are down 1%. And there's some sectors that are over 1% today, which is retail, XRT, which continues to have under the radar strength. I think anyway. This retail move has been pretty strong. And I'll just bring up the chart here of XRT. Also, the banks are strong again today. They took the day off yesterday because of, I think, more headline political stuff. But look at this XRT really making a nice move since then. So a couple names that I have my eye on today. I added an Expedia trade yesterday. It's not working today. So today, right now we have an inside day, which is not all that bad because it gives me a chance to add to the position, which I did not go in with 2 feet yesterday. I was a little bit apprehensive about taking new positions, but and then also another name that I had talked about in the room yesterday, which saw a nice January call spread, is WWE, and it's sticking at that bottom of value. It did take out the 5-minute version point of control. So let's see if this thing bounces from here. But I was waiting for this to be taken out before I decided to do anything in terms of a trade. But it's got to stop here. If it starts to fade a little bit further and takes out this this bottom of value, then no bueno, I would say. Other groups that are still doing well is the medical devices. Those have been doing pretty good the last couple days. Just to give you a quick heads up on what we saw yesterday in terms of fund flow data, big inflows to high yield bonds. They took in $1.1 billion yesterday into HYG and JNK. Also, I mentioned, was it PK? I would get the symbol confused. PKW. I got it wrong. I got it backwards. It's PKW, not PWK. Look at the volume that this thing had yesterday. This is the buyback ETF that has names in it with that have large buyback plans. They did this just the other day. They did this on the 6th, so not yesterday, the day before, where they bought the big inflow, over $100 million inflow into this ETF. I think the largest on record. There was one in and out flow that I'm not counting from about 6 months ago. But I think the largest inflow, just as companies come out of their closed window period and start to buy back shares again. So pretty interesting trade there. And here's the components of it, and then we'll end the video here just so I can give you a little bit of a sense of what this is. Oh, I didn't go over any of the option activity for today. It's been two-way. There has been a little bit of put buying in the pot names today, a little bit of put buying in the semi names today with a bunch of those names reporting earnings, Qualcomm, MCHI, and then there's been some call buying and some things. But you can see Procter & Gamble, Goldman, AXP, Disney, Citigroup, CVS, Walgreens, and so on and so forth in this ETF. But here's just a quick look at the option activity for the day, some of the most aggressive trades. A lot of small stuff. Again, the growth, we're seeing activity, but a lot of it is very small. Like Amazon, these are not gigantic trades. They're on my trade blotter for the day just to kind of see, because then I can kind of keep track if they're buying them repetitively. I thought this was January 2020. Okta calls went up aggressively, so something for a little bit further out. But you could see the pot stocks. So again, some of these trades not huge, but just on here for tracking purposes. And Tillery actually saw some calls as well. What else caught my attention? There was some Dan call spreads further out. Cisco, big call spread that went out to January. I have to check open interest. And then CSOD, some calls also. Those are just a couple of them. KNX has been active on in the December 40-35 calls as well the last couple of days. All right, that's it for today's video. Have a great day. See you later.